Hey everybody, this is Anna. Welcome to Part-Time Witch Starcast. And today we are going to talk about making your own choice. So, in this is one of the earlier episodes where I really want to emphasize on really trusting yourself, building that inner knowledge and inner wisdom, and being able to say yes or no, even though it is coming from a divine order. So that's why we have this episode. So, one of the interesting thing that happened to me, I recently made a trip with my cousin, who's also a spiritual person, and we had an encounter. We have more than one encounter in England, and we are gonna share that in other episodes. But something happened anyway, so I refused to make a connection with the entity that reached out to me, and she said, so the entity ended up reaching out to her, and she ended up helping them. However, when we are having this conversation, she said, well, they reach out to me, so I feel like I'm obligated to help them. So that kind of rings an alarm bell to me, because it doesn't matter what kind of entity, who it is. I do want to tell my audience that you have absolutely right to say yes or no, even if the request is coming from God himself or Buddha or Archangel. You have the choice to turn down a request. It is kind of like all of a sudden somebody reach out to you with a new job offer in 3D. You can say no to it. And it is the same in the 5D world. In all the other different dimensions, you can say no to it. You're not obligated. Even if you have some sort of a divine destiny to fulfill and better this human world, you still get to say no if you really don't want to. Oh my god, you have no idea how frustrated when I hear stuff like this, because yes, there are a lot of divine that is of your best interest. However, coming from different experience, I've also heard of other spirits who try to pretend different deities. Now that's annoying. And I'm saying this is not to raise your fear. That's not what I'm saying. Because all you have to say is, I reject. That's all you have to say. If you ran into someone who is trying to establish a connection with you and you do not want to, you can always say, I reject. It is the most simple word that you can put around yourself, around your house, is I reject, and then you give a statement of what the rejections are meant for, and it's a simple word, right? And I truly believe that this is part of that boundaries that we're setting for ourselves, whether it's in the 3D physical world or in spirituality. We're setting a healthy boundary, teaching other spirit beings to how to interact with us through our mind, through our body, and through our spirit. And if these energy or spirit or whoever it is, deity, they are truly working, trying to connect with you in your best interests, if they are truly loving, and if they're truly wanting, seeking for help, they also know that you have the power to say no. And then they also know that there's other people who can help them with this, right? So you do not have to feel obligated just because someone asks for help and then you have to help them. You have to understand A, whether you have the ability or not. B, is this something that you want to be involved with? And C, if this is really a person that you want to help, right? If the same thing happened in 3D world, that's some kind of the analysis you'll go through in your mind. And I do want to say that you can do that with your spirituality. And of course, as you get to be more powerful, you don't have to be this discerned. But at the beginning of your spiritual journey, I would always encourage you to use that same practice that you would do in the 3D world to be able to have that boundary for yourself when you're dealing with spirituality. Now I'm just going back to the story. So here's the story. My cousin and I, we arrived at Bristol on our second day of our trip. And that night, it was a weird night because... No, wait, was it the second night? Or maybe it was the first night. I can't remember. But, so the first night we were in London. And that night, something... Like, I woke up again at 3. Every time I woke up around at 3, I know something is up. To me, it's a witching hour. And typically a lot of spirits, spirit guides, energy would reach out to me during this, what I call the witching hour. Other people can call it something else. To me, it's a witching hour. And so I know something is up. I woke up and my cousin is dead asleep, which is really rare because I always joke about her zodiac is a rabbit, so she wakes up like if there's noise around her, like right away. So I was surprised that she was dead asleep, and then I was like, okay, there is some sort of energy that's gathering around the room, and it was just so much energy, and I have a hard time falling back to sleep. And knowing that it was 3 o'clock, I was like, okay, something's up, something is in the air. Let me try to find out what it is. And so in my mind's eye, when I go into this meditative mode, I kind of saw a star. But then the star is not just a star. It has this hue of cloud or mist or fog, that you should say, around the star. And then the color of the fog or whatever that mist is your Halloween green. I call it the goosebump green, okay? If you grew up in my generation, you know what it is, what those TV shows are, they're goosebumps. And I was just like, no, those are creepy greens. I do not want to reach out. And then it literally like calls out to me like, connect with me like twice. And I was like, nope, I am not going to, because this is creepy and I hate green. I like that green in real life. But it's like, if it's freaking 3 a.m, something of that color trying to reach out to me, I freaked out. Like, seriously, I was like, nope, I've ran into weird stuff before. This is not the green that I like, and I'm freaked out already. And so I'm like, nope, do not want to connect. So that night, I went back to sleep after that. And meanwhile, there's the energy, still feeling the energy around the space. That was really interesting. And then the morning, my cousin and I, we my cousin woke up, and then I woke up, and then so we had this conversation about the night before, and we said, I asked her, I was like, like there's something about this birth of the star. That was the feeling through the clairsentient message. I was like, there was a birth of a new star, but the star has this eerie green around it. Like, I just got super creeped out, and I refused to connect. And my cousin said, "Oh, I think they connect. They reach out to me, and then so she ended up helping them." And I said to her, "But don't you find it, like, how did you know that that's, why did you say yes? Like, and how did you, like, how did you want, what is the reason behind you saying yes?" And she said, "Well, I figured that if they're reaching out to me, I should say yes." And that was why that prompted this whole conversation about, like, no, you should have your own choice. You can say no if you don't want to. She's coming from a point of, it was a divine reaching out to her, asking for her help, and that's why, because it's divine, she should say yes. And I'm like, no, that's not the like that's dangerous. Anyways, I'm glad that she's okay. She turned out to, she ended up helping them, which I'm glad of. That whoever needs help with, got help. But again, like, I am sharing this story because, no, you don't have to always say yes to an offer. And in this case, my cousin and I obviously have very different ways of interpreting messages, where I say no, and then she said yes. Yes. Thank God nothing bad happens. So I was glad that her intuition decided to reach out. But to me, I was just too freaked out, and I can't really trust my intuition at that time because I was so freaked out by the green, by the eerie green, and this star kind of like, reach out to me. Oh my God. Holy crap. No. So, and again, for a record, if anyone tried to reach out to me in the future, if you show up in the creepy green and you kind of try to connect 3 a.m. using creepy voice, no, that's not gonna help. That's not gonna help your case. Anyways, so that is my one of my story in England, where I just came back and I'm slightly sick, and but I figure I do want to share the message, and this will be a great first message to share, is that, no, you don't have to answer the call every single time. It is, you have the freedom of will, you get to choose, and that's just how that's just how it is. So cool. I will talk to you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Bye.